Namaste everyone, salutations, welcome to today's particular video project where I ultimately wanted to speak upon something in particular. My message to the world is that if you are someone who cannot accept me or tolerate the embodiment of who I have become, who I once were, or who I am destined to always will become or yet to have become. As much as I value friendships, you have no place and room in the core or depth of my heart. You have no purpose in your life to have someone as myself in your life, in your human existence. The reason, the nature of why I've decided to create this video ultimately was because since moving out of state and since being out here, I've met two particular individuals whom I'd bestowed my kindness upon, and therefore in return had it been taken away from me, betraying me of my trust and bleeding me dry once again. I've created these videos so much in the past. Countless videos. And these two particular individuals, I do not desire to provide their name. However, they know who they are. And this video is in regards to anyone past, present, and or future it's honest to God sad, God willing or God forbid, should my trust be betrayed for no logic, for simply no reason at all whatsoever, and despite that I've provided my kindness, I provided my light, and all that I have ever done was to be who I am and embrace my nature and be who I am as a human being, and done everything right as possible and as positive as possible. And then you have people who, the one particular individual who gives you this cold shoulder, who never answers your phone call, never answers the door, never responds for anything. And then you have this one other particular individual whom at one point was a customer of mine. Everything was perfect up until all of a sudden this particular point. For no reason in the slightest had he decided to burn bridges, sever the relationship of our friendship in half for one reason or another. I'm quite confused, and I will always be confused, because these are the type of people or individuals whom are simply to put, and most professionally and politely to put, are scumbags, are parasites, are the waste and the channeling of filth among the airwaves of our modern world today. They truly are. And there's no forgiving people like that. There is no room for hypocrites and people like that in our society today. You have to be someone as a realist, as a perfectionist, and someone who's brutally and completely honest as myself. We have to make a future of society or humanity of people like ourselves who are brutally honest. And I never sugarcoat anything. I never bite my tongue for anything. And if I would expect that if anyone should have issues or problematic cause with me one way or another, I would expect that person to be I don't want to say a man or a woman. It's like everybody says, it's so mediocre and typical human society. I would expect that person or individuals rather to being a human being. Pride yourselves in the civility of our modern 21st century and be outright, be honest. You know, we have to sit down and uphold a conversation as normal human beings are supposed to. And I would expect people to ultimately sit down and talk about it. And while I have done nothing wrong to anybody, and all of a sudden I get people who just, you know, it happens all throughout my life. I've had people to just up out and walk out and, you know, burn bridges with you, give you a cold shoulder. Very seldom people give you a cold shoulder, but when that shit happens, that pisses you off. That's just annoying. That's sincerely annoying. And it's just something that you do not quite do in the actual reality of our world. And as positive as possible, as much as possible, I have always attempted to help people. I've always provided people with the benefit of a doubt. Despite being a misanthropic and nihilist, I only have a resentment or hatred towards the human species of a rather good percentage of people, but not much. You know, I always provide others, rather, with a positive insight and a positive perspective that that I feel personally are meant to be a part of my life. And I, as much as possible, attempt to recognize that light in others. And as much as possible, I attempt to help others to the best of my ability and welcome people closer to my human existence and my human heart. And for it to often being betrayed is sickening. It's honest to God sickening. And if our philosophy is coexistence and finding or discovering that light that exists in each of us as human beings or extraterrestrial beings or what have you, collectivism, through coexistence, we are able to celebrate our differences and embrace our unity in whatever possible perspective we could, in whatever way that we could achieve it. And I've always promoted the idealism of diversity through equality, and for us as a species among Earth, or as starseeds as ourselves that we are, to come together. And it's unfortunate that we have people in the world who, you know, we cannot share our same or similar energy vibrations. We cannot find it in ourselves to embrace our differences, and rather instead of we cannot find our similarities and we suddenly just up out and leave, and we just suddenly attack each other for our differences, which is not right. It should be, our differences should be celebrated just as much, if not more or less, if not more than our similarities. And that's a feeling that I get. Like I feel like a lot of people in the world, they have this notion to judge one another. They have this notion to not care of one another. Rather, instead, they jump to conclusion and simply judge one another, which is pathetic and not right. Anyway, forgive me for my rant, my tangents. I mean, if you could call it that. I mainly consider it a lecture or inspiration, if you will. This video, this project in particular, was just of me to addressing how I personally feel and how it's not justified through, at least through my perspective. And I cannot ever remember or see anything where it's even remotely celebrated as it being a status quo in anyone's eyes. That's just something you do not do. If you have a problem with someone, if you have a particular issue with someone, you talk it out like actual human beings. You do not burn bridges. You do not shy away from it. You do not, all of a sudden one day not answer somebody's phone calls or knock on a door or text for that matter. And you don't just stay silent, you actually say something. Anyway, these two particular individuals, they know who they are. It's obvious, it's just a waste of my energy, my time, my breath to even mention their names. And I pray every day. I always struggle to find a reality in which my prayers, my hopes of humanity would actually improve one day. Rather instead, I see a realization that is only becoming a nightmare of chaos. A nightmare that's becoming reality, in which humanity it's only becoming worse. I mean, I always ask people, hey, thanks for watching our videos, please subscribe, share our channel, and for whatever reason, I never get people really to share our channel. But that's okay, because in a world as celebrated as this, the status quo is celebrated so much more. And when someone as like-minded as myself comes along into the motions of the picture to disturb the reality, those of us as ourselves, as like-mindedness, we pose a threat to society. And the misconception is that we're apparently a threat to ourselves by the status quo. Regardless, this is the destiny of what has to happen, I suppose. People never share videos, share things. People are somehow allergic to the truth. And that's what it is. As sad as it is, it's the reality of the world in which it governs our status quo of our world. Nonetheless, soon enough, we'll all have to rise up one day together, and united we stand, divided we fall. Until that time comes, and I hope that maybe our videos ultimately inspires those of you who are watching our videos. And if so, more likely, then thank you so much. Your support is a contribution in itself. It's a reimbursement in itself. And we truly appreciate you watching our videos, and that's a support in itself. If you show your friends, and thank you so much. I'm sure those of you who watch our videos share our videos in your own special uniqueness, in your own way. I'm not criticizing anybody, I'm just putting it out there. Just please share more on social media and word of mouth. I mean, that would be golden. That would be fantastic. So I thank you everyone for watching our videos, and please continue watching our videos. Please continue sharing our videos with other people you know. I'm getting my brand new camera soon, so I'm looking forward to that. See each and every one of you soon. Namaste.